In 1997, I came to Israel and I came to Nishmat. I remember the first time when I came to Nishmat, Rabbanit Henkin came to me and gave me a very strong hug, and she said, "Welcome." It's unbelievable how you feel here, like you are in the family. Really, it's something that I can't explain just with the words. It's something you feel. The worst day of my life was when I found out that I couldn't have baby. My life was crumbled. So I pray. I pray to Hashem with all my faith. And I started treatment. After a few times, I was pregnant. Finally, I was pregnant. And for my surprise, wasn't just one or two or three. I was pregnant of 4. And I was so happy and thankful for Hashem. But my happiness was for a short time. The doctor calls me and tells me that I could have the 4th, because it could be very dangerous for me and for the babies. I couldn't believe in what I was hearing. How I couldn't have the 4. I asked for 1 and Hashem gave me this blessing. Hashem gave me 4. I won't eliminate my babies. It wasn't easy, but Baruch Hashem, they are 7 years old. They are studying a religious school in Brazil. And the faith that I have in Hashem to give me this wonderful family, I learned at Nishmat. And Nishmat and Rabbanit Henkin were a major change in my life.
זה לא רק בית מדרש, כאילו, זה לא רק איזשהו מקום שבאים באים ללמוד ומחתימים כרטיס, זה הרבה מעבר.
היכולת לשלב את הצד העיוני, הלימודי, עם ממש לגעת בחיים של האנשים ולעזור להם להתקדם בהם, זה אולי הדבר הכי משמעותי שהלימוד בתוכנית הזאת עשה לי.
קטעים שנשים מבוגרות ששומעות איזו תשובה ופורצות בבכי, למה לא ידעתי את זה כל השנים?
My name is Chana Henkin. I made Aliyah in 72, and we established Nishmat in 1990. A group of young women came to me and asked me to establish a school for them. Initially, I tried to turn them down because I wasn't at the point in my life that I felt I wanted to start an institution, but on the other hand, I really felt a sense of identification with them. And there was that moment of weakness or inspiration, call it what you wish. And I said yes. And the rest is history.
הקורא בתורה לא יפחות מ3 פסוקים, ולא יקרא מתורגמן יותר מפסוק אחד, ובנביא 3. זה מאוד מעניין, בגלל שהיום אנחנו לא עושים את זה, הם לא מתרגמים את זה באמצע קריאת התורה. אנשים לא יודעים אפילו שעשו את זה פעם. Learning Gemara for me is delving into the thoughts and hearts of many generations of rabbis through the oral Torah. Learning at Nishmat for me is learning in Israel with Israelis, really living here. I have 4 Israeli roommates. 3 of them are Israeli, and 1 of them is Ethiopian Israeli. So also having experience with the Ethiopian community has been something very special for me, and I think also special for the other Israeli girls.
יש את החסידות שהן עושות תמיד את המסע שלהן מאפריקה לאסיה דרך ארץ ישראל, אז תמיד כשיהודי אתיופיה ראו את החסידות, אז הם היו שואלים אותם, מה שלום ירושלים? כי הם ידעו את הדרך של החסידות. אז הם אמרו להם, שימלה, שימלה, אגרת שין ירושלם דנה. הקהילה האתיופית היא קהילה מאוד מיוחדת, שנסיבות החיים גרמו לכך שתורה שבעל פה לא תגיע לאתיופיה. אין דבר כזה רבן גמליאל, רבי יהודה הנשיא ורב אשי ורב הונא. מבחינתם יש את התורה שבכתב, והולכים לפי החוקים של התורה שבכתב, אחד לאחד ממש. בתוך כל הסערה שאני נמצאת בה, סערה שקטה, אבל זה סוג של סערה, אז נשמעתי כמו איזשהו עוגן, כמו כזה איש שהיה שם שמאוד מאוד ביסס את האחיזה שלי בדת. מאוד הרחיב את האופקים שלי, מאוד נתן לי ידע, אבל לא ברמה הפשוטה של ללמוד עוד דפים גמרא. זה ידע הרבה יותר מעמיק שגורם לך ליישם את התורה ביותר מובנים של החיים.
I was born in Russia. I grew up in Moscow. When I was 9.5, we moved to Germany. And now I'm ready for 7 months in Israel. And now I'm gonna go back home to visit my parents in order afterwards officially to come on Aliyah. And here I bought some candlesticks for my mom because to my biggest joy, suddenly she started candlelighting. One incredible part which happened to be in the Midrasha was that I first time in my life opened a Mishnah Berurah and a Gemara, which I saw from far, far away, like these enormous books. Here they're really like forcing me to learn. For example, in the lesson of the Rabbanit, asking her a question and she's bringing me the book or she's telling me, here, here are the sources, so you go to the Mishnah Berurah and you're gonna open it and you're gonna study it, and afterwards, when you still have a question, we can talk about it.
I was walking down the street in Jerusalem, and a friend crossed over the street, and she told me that she hadn't been able to get to the mikveh for 6 months. Why hadn't she spoken to anyone? Because she was too uncomfortable to speak to a rabbi. There was no one there for her, and I knew we had to get women out there to be there for women. So I went home and I spoke to my husband, and he was rock solid behind me. He agreed, and I figured the two of us could do it.
What a nice head lift.
We established a program to train women in the laws of Jewish family life to respond to questions by other women.
Before I was in the program, I was a pediatrician. I had already been practicing for about 8 years. And now I'm something really unique. My experience, particularly in the area of halakha that we are specializing in, my experience as a woman really makes a difference in terms of understanding the questions that are asked of me. So Rachel, how are things going at Nishmat?
Hi, Baruch Hashem. We're going to our test soon.
Wow.
Studying, yeah.
I remember that.
You remember that? I'm sure you do.
That was, of all the tests that I've taken, both as a doctor and as a lactation consultant, I think that was the one I had to study for the most. I first learned about the program when I saw an ad in the Jerusalem Post. And I called up and I went for an interview and I heard what was involved in the program. And my first response was that I just could not do it. It was our first year of Aliyah. I had kids who were going to school, trying to learn the language. It just wasn't going to work. But Rabbanit Chana Henkin, who doesn't take no for an answer, called me up and said, I want you to come in and meet with both you and your husband. And she met with the two of us, and she convinced my husband that I was able to do it. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that we've made a really big difference in someone's life. And there are times that we've saved their life, there's times they've saved their marriage. Because very often, with this area of halakha, there can be a certain amount of suffering that's going on in the couple. And far too often, there are solutions. And women are just not using the solutions because they didn't know the solutions are out there.
שנה הבאה, בעזרת השם, אני מתכננת להיות שליחה מטעם תנועת בני עקיבא בניו יורק. זה פרויקט מיוחד של לימוד תורה וגמרא, ואני חושבת שהלימוד תורה בנשמת פתח לי עוד הרבה אופקים שבכלל לא הייתי נחשפת אליהם אלמלא הגעתי לשם.
Next year I'll be at Harvard University, and I hope to bring with me there continued learning on a high level of Judaic studies. It's really important to me, and I hope to be very involved with the Hillel community there.
You know what the secret of Nishmat is? Of course, it's phenomenally talented students and teachers who believe in them and horizons that are open in every direction. But it's also a philosophy. It's the philosophy that's guided me. Im tirtzu ein zo agada. If you will it, it's not a legend. You can do it. And if you have to do it, then get up and do it. And that's what we're doing at Nishmat.